Hey everyone, welcome to the Draw Breakdown Wimbledon style presented by Ozlo Sleepbuds. They will be our presenting sponsor through Wimbledon in its entirety. We are happy to have them on board. We are going to tell you more about the product later in the show, but let's get to it. I left the last show basically saying that I wanted to talk about the women's draw first because there are so many women that could make a dent in this tournament, in this draw, and I haven't looked at the draws, so just a reminder, if you saw our Roland Garros draw breakdown, we do it a little differently. I think Mike's probably looked at it. I think our guy Jon Wertheim, I think he has looked at the draw. I have not looked at the draw, so I will look at it for the first time right in front of you. I have this one that says women's and this one that says men's, and I have not seen them yet. So I'll just tell you quickly like who I'm looking at. And the question that I've been asking is, JW, I want your thoughts on this too. Is Iga Swiatek the most dominant player on earth right now? With Novak kind of not getting off to the year, the start of the year that we're accustomed to, that we feel entitled to, frankly, that we're spoiled as tennis fans from him with his consistent level of quality. But Swiatek has kind of jumped into that role. 5 slams already, young age, rolled through Roland Garros again. Is she one of your top 4 favorites on the women's side?
We should back up and talk about why we are even having this conversation. As you say, here's a player. I think she's 45-4 on the year. She's lost 4 matches all year. She's number 1. She won the previous major, rolling away. She's a former Wimbledon junior champ. And we're having a very legitimate discussion about, is she among the top 4 or 5 contenders? The short answer is yes, but I think there's a larger discussion here. Why are we all so skeptical? What is it about her game that makes us all so skeptical? Because on paper, it should be Iga versus the field. And yet a lot of people, the two of us included, are sort of saying, well, she's in the mix, but I wouldn't necessarily make her my first choice. Why is that?
Surfaces, right? Everything that she does well naturally in her game. Right? That heavy ball flight on her forehand side, the ability on clay and on hard to get out of the corners, especially on clay where she slides and then turns back. She's already got a step closer to back to the center when she goes for those kind of big slides. On grass, she has to either run through it. The movement's not not great for her. When she split steps, and I talked to one of the most revered coaches a couple weeks ago, and he brought up a great point. He basically said that some of the players that thrive on clay have like a high split step, so they pop up and down pretty quickly. You need that low center of gravity on grass, right? Think of like a Leighton Hewitt or a Novak Djokovic or a Roger Federer. They're always kind of sunk into the court. Iga, for all her greatness in her footwork, kind of has that like pogo jump, which makes it tough to break to the edges. With her movement, the second serve is attackable. You can beat her. I mean, this is all relative, right? When I talk about the greats and the way that you have to play them, it doesn't mean that there's a weakness. It doesn't mean that it's a slight. But the game plan is you have to run traffic hard through Iga's forehand side. Grass, the ball gets through the court a little bit more. You can attack that forehand side, and she can't just switch directions, meaning high, lofty one up to the backhand, or turn it over, physical back to the forehand side. So basically everything in her game gets better as soon as she steps on a clay court naturally, right? Doesn't have to make adjustments. The adjustments that she makes are purely strategic based on who's on the other side of the court. Whereas at Wimbledon, she has to adjust her movement. She probably has to adjust her ball flight, especially on the forehand side, a little bit more than she wants. Second serve is extremely gettable, especially on this surface. You can attack basically where you have to go to make her a little bit weaker is way more open on grass, right? So it's not a mystery how you beat her, and it is easier to execute. You don't get that skid, low ball, flat, deep through the court on a clay court, and she can back up, right? She can give herself space, where at Wimbledon, she's going to have to play a little bit more up on the baseline. And then you mix that with, I'm looking at kind of just a lazy list of names written down. Coco will be good on grass. Sabalenka, his game is made for grass. Rybakina has already won Wimbledon. Jess Pegula, you could argue grass is, maybe her biggest upside is on the service. Vondrousova obviously won Wimbledon last year. Zhang is going to be able to serve to the court. Ons Jabeur, it's her best surface. So you combine the Iga of things as far as style, and then you bring in the other players who, there's 6 or 7 here in the top 15 that you could make the argument that grass is their best surface. So those factors combined are why we are talking about Iga like we are at this tournament. It's not as if we've forgotten that she's great. We haven't. Just if me saying she's more vulnerable on grass and might not be one of the top 3 or 4 favorites doesn't mean I completely don't. I didn't forget her legacy. I've been, on the front end of saying I think she's going to be one of the best women's players of all time. I could even be convinced that she wins Wimbledon, someday for sure. But it's going to be the toughest slog for sure. Danielle Collins, I'm looking at another name. She steps up in the middle of court and starts tagging that forehand with her pace of shot. That's a tough matchup. Madison Keys, a lot tougher matchup. Ostapenko, a lot tougher matchup. Kalinskaya, a lot tougher matchup. Svitolina, tougher matchup. Siniakova, Alexandrova. There's so much depth on the women's side for this event. It's just, I'm looking at the top 30 ranked players, and that's before we get to the bolters and the, one Miss Emma Raducanu has entered the conversation this week by playing well, beating Jess Pegula and finding some form just in time for Wimbledon. So all that to say, I think it's going to get weird during this draw. There's going to be a lot of high quality matches on the women's side. Still some really big names on the men's side that I want to see where they end up. Berrettini is one that nobody wants to play first round. I see your smile, which means he dropped someone. He's going to play someone first round. It's like this Zverev Rafa of Roland Garros, but you don't want to see him. John-Leonard Struff is another one that like nobody wants to see. Right? He can come forward. He's basically Michael Stich with a two-handed backhand. Plays the exact same. The body type is similar. So this is what's fun about these draw shows is that you want to see where the sleepers kind of end up. Jordan Thompson's another one that is well-versed on grass that no one wants to, not as intimidating, not the big serve like Berrettini, can't take the racket out of your hands, but just a nuanced player who, once he gets on a grass court, is instantly better. So without further ado, Mike, producer Mike, am I doing the women's or the men's first?
I think let's go with the women's first.
Let's go with the women's.
Real quick though, where are you?
Oh, sorry. I am in Rome. I actually am looking out to my left. We are traveling. I can see right here if I bend down. So I'm looking out to my left straight away. I can see the top of the stadium for the Rome Masters right out to my left as we're having this conversation.
You're a few weeks late.
Yeah. That's hence me with Clay. That's just trying to
Zverev won.
Just trying to stay on brand. What else are we looking for, or what else were you curious about? You've already seen you have solved for your biases. But what was exciting you before you actually saw the draw this week, JW?
Well, I think some of the mystery, and it hasn't, let's timestamp this. It's Friday morning. The draw just came out. I mean, I think we're all waiting to see are the players that are on our draw sheets, are they going to stay in the draw? Are there going to be some late withdrawals that are going to change things a little bit? It looks like Novak is officially in. I think Murray's a bit of a question mark as you and I speak right now.
Yeah, and I just want to clear something up real quick because I've been catching strays for the last week. Me saying, so when I said Novak, if he was really hurt, he should pull out before the draw is made. That doesn't mean if he has a chance to play, you pull out, right? Mike literally said, when would he pull out when we were dealing with a knee surgery, et cetera, et cetera. And I said, okay, if he's really hurt and knows he's not going to play, he's going to pull out before the draw is out. Not the same as Andy Murray. This is he's never ceremonial in the way he approaches a match, but this is his last Wimbledon. He wants to say goodbye to the home crowd. If Novak was playing his last tournament and he was 90-something in the world, you would also want him to play regardless of hurting himself further, X, Y, and Z. Murray's not worried about future damage to his body. He wants to get on the court and take that victory celebration. The two couldn't be further apart right now. One is the number 2 seed, where if you pull out late, it's your prerogative. I'm just saying if he knew he wasn't going to play on a Tuesday, he would have pulled out before the draw. It's that simple. No reason to get emotional about it. That's the way it's always been done. It's the classy thing to do. And by the way, it's what he said this week, right? He said, I'm not going to play if I don't think I can win. And if I know I can't play, he goes, I'm going to pull out earlier because I want to make a spot in the draw for someone else. He literally parroted exactly what we were talking about, but yet still catching strays, and we can't do right on this show, one way or the other. But Murray and Nole, completely different scenarios. I am going to turn over the women's draw and take a look at it for the first time.
But first, we have to take a break.
Got it. And we'll be back right after this, apparently. All right, welcome back. Hopefully, producer Mike will butt out. Not sleep butt out. I'll tell you, I just had a beautiful plate of caprese pasta. You know what sucks about Italy and their offerings for food and beverage? Not much. But you know what sucks?
What's that?
I don't see any Olipop.
Oh.
And it's could have used one. All right, I'm going to turn over this women's draw, and then we are going to start filling out the brackets. So I know I'm going to see Iga Swiatek. Ooh, Kenin. That's not easy. That's a tricky one. Kenin's game translates to grass really well. Hard, flat through the court, can switch directions. I'm obviously not gonna take her over Iga.
You'll recall the first round last year. That's Kenin's got some rough draws coming her way. Sometimes she overcomes them, sometimes not. That's a rough first rounder though for two former major champions. Don't often get that.
Yeah, that's a rough one. And I also remember Iga hasn't played a competitive match on grass. Like, come out of the gates, it's easy to drop serve once. You're down 2-3-0. Like, she needs a good start in that one. And it's not as if she has 7 weeks of clay court tennis behind her and she's going into Roland Garros. So I like Martic in that second round. I like Iga. I have Iga through to the third round. Oh, Putin-Sava Kerber. That's a good one.
That's a good one, huh?
Putin-Sava. I didn't mention her in the sleepers, and I feel bad now. Because
you said something really interesting. Why don't we do it right here in like 30 seconds? But you made a really good point that you don't have to necessarily be 6'10" and a big server to succeed on grass. And here in Putin-Sava Kerbers, these are not two physical giants, but they both are good on the surface. Why don't you explain why it's an oversimplification to say height is good?
The laziest way to analyze grass court tennis, in my opinion, is big serve, good on grass. And I actually don't think that's the case. I think being able to knock down returns, like Isner doesn't hold any more on grass than he does on a normal surface, but he doesn't have time to set up, right? He hits one return and you can switch directions on him right away. And he'll tell you this much anyways. Fast twitch muscles, right? Where you can react quickly. That pays dividends on a grass court. Slow and dopey doesn't really pay many dividends, no matter how hard you serve. It's not going to help you hold anymore, and you have to be able to break. So the lazy analysis where like, that's a big server, he's automatically going to be great on grass, doesn't always hold water. Now, if you're a big server like Becker and you can come in and you can make a bunch of returns and you can slice and get in, and same with Pete, like they were great on grass. Their serves are always great, but the sum of the parts were better on grass. Pete could get forward. He could chip and come in. He had the skill set to make his service games even better. So Putin-Sava, again, low to the ground. Kerber, former Wimbledon champion, low to the ground, can both get it through the court. I don't know who I like in this one. I think I'm going to take Putin-Sava just on like a recency bias. I'm basically just going to take her because she won. Siniakova. That's Putin-Sava. Siniakova is a brutal second round. I like Siniakova. Okay, now that's the popcorn one. We've come to our first impasse. Is Siniakova Iga? That's not easy.
That's a good upset pick, huh?
Iga has a tough draw.
Yeah, exactly.
Kenin is really good. I think Martic. I think she can handle that.
Siniakova Iga is that's one to circle, huh?
That's a big one. I think that's a big one. Garcia. All right. Blinkova, Potapova. Okay, Garcia, Potapova. I like Potapova to the third round.
No Bernie Para, big lefty serve.
All
right.
No. Potapova played pretty well. She played all right last week. She won some matches. Tomjanovic, Ostapenko. Who do you like in that one, JW? That's a good.
Remember, that's a repeat. That's one for the YouTube. Remember they played at Wimbledon and had words. Tomljanovic on the nice to see she got a wild card. Bad luck with injuries. I
Yeah.
think I got to go Ostapenko.
Yeah.
But that's a good. There's some history there.
I like Ostapenko through to the third round. Potapova. I mean, Iga's draw is like brutal. She does not like the matchup against Ostapenko. Is she 0-4 against her? Or did she just beat her once?
Never beaten Ostapenko. No, never beaten Ostapenko.
0-4 against Ostapenko. Oh my gosh. I hate I hate this draw for Iga, and I realize even though I went off on why I don't like her on grass as much as the other surfaces, I still have a really hard time picking against her.
Exactly.
All right, Danielle Collins. I like her moving through against Thompson.
Losing record at Wimbledon. I just saw, but
That's surprising.
I
I
think you're
don't.
right, but isn't it? Isn't it?
Yeah, and maybe that's just a movement thing, like where you're not a fluent mover, where maybe she slips and stuff. But I still like. I mean, she's hitting the ball great. Well, she's had some time off. She hasn't played. Cherie, I still have Collins third round. Even with that, Camila Osari, I was like, Georgie? No, she's not playing. Maybe ever. I guess I like Haddad. I guess I like Haddad through against Collins. Oof. There's not like a huge favorite in that section, honestly. That's kind of the weakest little one so far. I'll go Collins, just friend of the show, right? Danimal.
Yeah. Haddad Maya is one of those players that everybody likes, and then she seldom brings it at the big events.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if and also I have this thing where like if they played first round, I might view it a little bit differently. But if they play third round, that means Danimal's gotten 2 matches in. And when she
right.
gets but when she has win behind her, she's a completely different player. So if they play third round, this isn't on like just a head-to-head basis. This is if they play. I did the same thing with Novak or Roland Garros. Like I all of a sudden I had him in the semis. I'm like, well, if he's in the semis, then he's turned into Novak again. So it's a completely different scenario than him
Exactly.
playing, same matchup first round. You got to give credit to the players that can find form in a hurry. Krejcikova,
She's fallen off. Siniakova has a higher singles ranking than Krejcikova. Just a little side note.
Siniakova is good on grass. I'm just telling you, like she can absolutely play on grass. Okay, to play Collins, I'm going to save you so we can move it along here. I like Vondrosova. I like Vondrosova. I keep thinking I'm going to pick an upset of Iga, and then I just can't do it.
Exactly.
Um,
Which says something.
Yeah, it's like a testament to her greatness because I don't like any of the matchups for her, but I'm not going to pick against her.
So I don't know if you saw the slip that Vondrosova had, which looked really bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, everything is case by case, but I'm curious how much of this injury withdrawal is preventative and cautionary and precautionary, and how much of it do you think these players are coming dinged up?
I think a lot of it's precautionary. I think we saw a lot of precautionary stuff in Berlin. Rightfully so. If you take a slip, but the thing with Vondrosova and with a lot of the other players who kind of had those slip and then withdrawal is they all walked off. It didn't look like she had a limp, so hopefully it's one of those things where you tweak it. Ice, anti-inflammatories, Voltaren, everything, all of these things where you can reduce inflammation. I don't know. I haven't heard much about her because other stories have been taking up all the oxygen, but I haven't heard much about her coming into this tournament. But I thought it was so good for her Wimbledon prospects that she played well at Roland Garros and finally
Vondrosova,
just found a little bit of rhythm and a cadence and to be in a tournament for 10 days, the same tournament, not having played 2 tournaments in 10 days like she has for the rest of the season, I thought was a really good sign. So I have Iga Vondrosova in the quarters, Rybakina, another one of the Berlin casualties, retiring down 3-1. It looked like it was stomach issues. Sounded like it was more
this is a chronic
cramps
thing with her. I mean, this is
yeah.
a player who's really struggled to stay healthy.
Yes, and it's weird, and she'll be defending tournaments. So Indian Wells, Rome, uh, missed both of them, kind of on the eve of the tournament. But I like who I really like. I like Leylah Fernandez on this Wozniacki.
Slow down. Wozniacki Parks is a good one, huh?
Yeah, I like Wozniacki
Parks has
Parks.
that big serve.
There it is, though, John. Wozniacki's going to find a way to hit behind her.
See?
She can
All
switch
right.
directions. I like Woz in that one. Wozniacki Fernandez is a good one. Um, I'm going to take Layla through to the third round. I'm going to take Rybakina. It's just so hard. Rybakina, you don't know what you're going to get, but you can't bet against her on the surface. I mean, her game and maybe Sabalenka are kind of like made uh, for the surface. I have Rybakina through to the fourth round. Okay, now we're going to get fun. I am taking in the next quarter Kalinskaya, Buskova. Buskova is interesting because she keeps the ball down. Kind of has that, the Czech ball flight normally is a little bit flatter and through the court, which is great on grass. I don't like Samsonova. She kind of needs some time on that forehand side. Almost has like a little delay where she can kind of lay it off and create a bunch of speed, but also like it's tough to catch up to. On a grass court, I'm gonna go Kalinskaya, Rybakina in the fourth round. Jabeur, I think the people's favorite for this event, obviously having made the finals the last 2 years and just coming up a little bit short. Um, Heartbreak Hotel against Vondrousova last year, where she was probably the heavy favorite, and Vondrousova was outside of the top 40. Svitolina, semis last year, if I'm not mistaken. Memorable run.
Niemeyer had a nice run 2 years ago, but she's fallen off a bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
Svitolina semis last year.
All right. I don't like doing this, but Jabeur, there's a lot. She was another one of the casualties in Berlin that she lost the first set to Coco 7-6 and then took a pass. It looked like it was a neck issue, which if you're playing a set, it's normally stiff and you're just kind of making it worse by trying to serve. So that felt very precautionary. I have Svitolina in the fourth round. Yes. You have Jabeur through on that section, John?
I guess she sure can't complain about her draw, but I do not think she makes her third straight final, if that's jumping ahead. But yeah, I do have Jabeur through.
Okay. I don't hate that at all. This is a tough section. Bolter and Pagula are crash course. Let's just pencil them in the third round. Bolter, obviously having the best year of her career. I think last year she was probably 70 or 80 in the world at Wimbledon. Now she's top 30, has really made a lot of, big stride. That's a tough one because that's going to be on center court for sure in Great Britain. I got to do it though. I'm taking Pagula to the quarters.
Whoa,
And
really?
maybe that's my heart, but I just
No,
I don't know.
no Ashlyn Kruger love.
No, I mean tons of it. I just
yeah,
Pagula's 5 in the world and is really good on
right,
grass. There's no disrespect
right.
because
And don't you think, and probably benefits from this hiatus she took. I don't read much into her losing to Raducanu having won a
no,
title last week.
no, I don't think I don't know if she benefits from it, but I think as we talked about in the last pod, I think she needed to win that tournament. She needed to beat big competition. Took out some massive grass court players like Siniakova, Goff, and then Kalinskaya saved 4 match points in the final. So I've been outspoken the last couple of weeks about loving Jess Pagula's game on grass. So I guess I have to put money where my mouth is. And so true to form, who do you have through? So we're gonna go. We'll fill through to the quarters and then we'll come back and finish it on the women's side. Iga Vondrousova, Rybakina, Pagula, but I have no confidence in this half. Like a million upsets just waiting to happen. I mean, Putin-Sava, Siniakova is a monster second round. Siniakova, Iga, that's a big and Siniakova has played big matches, even doubles court, 8 slams. Iga has a brutal draw. Kenin, great on grass. I think she'll get through the second one. Siniakova, really good on grass. Ostapenko or Potapova, really good on grass. Vondrousova, really good on grass. Iga's got a brutal draw. And it's like the respect tax means you can't. It's weird. I could have her in the semis and also I might take 51% that she doesn't get there. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
She's like the most likely, but this is a tough draw. Like this is a really, really, really tough draw for Iga. I mean, she plays fourth round, but she's never beaten Ostapenko, like tennis's matchups. And that
And
matchup doesn't get like easier. Ostapenko just fires through the court.
yeah, we haven't. I mean, let's just be clear too. This is a player who's never been beyond the quarters. She won Junior Wimbledon, but this is a player who's never been beyond the quarters. I don't know how much we can't really quantify. You say or attacks. I mean, I think
Yeah,
there's got to be something on both sides of the net, both her own confidence and then the opponent as well. There's got to be something to say. This is the world's number one player who won the previous major, who's winning 90% of her matches, and only gets better as the tournament goes on. But I think you're right. I think you nailed it. It's kind of a combination of a brutal draw, and yet in a vacuum, I'm not sure I would pick against Egan any single one of these matches. But
exactly.
cumulatively,
And that's the problem with just throwing out things is like again, I could see her losing 3 times along the way to the semis. But it's like, do you bet it? She's still, in my mind, the most likely to make it there. It's kind of like, you know what it is? It's kind of like Rafa on grass back in the day. Like great, like won Wimbledon twice. So conversation and one of the best grass court players ever. And also, if you were ever going to try to take his lunch, it would be on that surface, right? Like so, it's just he has to make more adjustments on that surface. You know, return position, going after the first ball a little bit sooner, a little bit faster. You can get through. He doesn't break serve at a 53% clip like he does on other surfaces, and it's kind of similar for Iga. So, all right, let's flip to the bottom half. Queen Wen, like her a lot. I like her. Taylor Townsend, Pavlyuchenkova. I like Wen through to the fourth round. I like her draw.
agreed. Live up to her seeding. I mean, I don't know. I see a wild card Raducanu lurking.
Yeah.
Who's shown some form of late, but yeah, I mean, if you,
Alexandrova is legit. That's a brutal first round draw for Raducanu
I didn't
and
even see that. Yeah,
Alexandrova.
against a seed. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right.
Alexandrova did she win Berlin last? She won something on grass leading into Wimbledon last year. I think she beat Coco at Berlin last year and
Yeah,
made a
right.
run.
She beat Coco. Yeah, that's right.
That's oh gosh, I don't even know who do you like there, JW? I don't know who I like. That's popcorn.
I always it's as much hard overhead. We always like Taylor Townsend, especially on a fast surface that rewards net play. This is an interesting little pocket here, though. I mean, I guess, man,
I'll tell you, gosh, that's a brutal draw. Alexandrova, and then second round, whoever wins that Raducanu Alexandrova has Mertens second round, who's really capable in grass also. Yeah. That's a nice, that's a tough. I don't think Sakari gets through that section.
coming off a first round loss at her previous major. We
Yeah,
love
gosh, that's a tough
Kazakhina
one.
not on grass. This is what state is the land of opportunity? Is that like Arkansas or New Mexico? There's a lot of big opportunity here in this little pocket.
I don't know. It's someplace that Alexandrova's never been. I'm man, I don't know who to choose in this Alexandrova Raducanu match. But
How do we feel about Raducanu and the crucible of center court and sort of young British player coming back to the scene of the crime? This is where her 2021 run got its momentum. Is that a
different
plus or a
scenarios.
minus?
Like the shoulders are heavier now with weight of expectation and eyeballs. Didn't play last year. So this is like a 2-year buildup. Um, I think I'm gonna go with Alexandrova to the fourth round.
Ooh, all right.
She hasn't been high on confidence, so this section's really confusing to me.
Agree.
And because I have no idea who's coming through that little section, that little Alexandrova, Raducanu, Mertens, Sakari section, because I don't know who's coming through there, I'm taking Queen Wen to the quarters.
I think on numbers you have to. Wait, this is a very strange pocket of the draw, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
A little
Yeah.
soft.
Yeah, this is in this next little pocket's kind of opportunity knocking because Kazatkina, it's probably her worst service. She can't really flatten out that forehand. It's just not her shot shape. Um, but I don't. Badosa Muchleva would normally be like a layup here, but she just hasn't played any tennis. She's coming back from injury.
And re-injured this week, unfortunately. You're
Is she
talking
even,
Muhova, right?
yeah, is she even going to play?
I don't. Yeah, exactly. What did she say? She's ready to inflict some damage. She told the WTA website, but now she's injured again. This is a very talented athletic player who's had deep runs at Wimbledon who just cannot stay healthy. Muhova.
And has been in the finalist at Roland Garros
Yeah,
also.
right,
Like
right,
knows how to play these big events.
right.
I mean, this is I don't know how Andreeva is on like we don't have we don't have a huge sample size here. Okay. Um I'm going Kazatkina at least to the third round. I think Badosa, if Muhova plays, I still think I'm taking Badosa. I think it's a huge ask to come out and just all of a sudden play well. Um Andreeva, I guess, to the third
How do we
round.
feel? This is the first event, and no doubt not the last, at which Andreeva's seeded, but she
Yeah,
plays a young junior rival right off the bat.
it doesn't bother. I don't think that's a huge deal. I think it's more just service specific and playing in majors. And I have Kazatkina and Dreva. I'm taking Kazatkina to the fourth round, even though I don't really like her on the
Really?
surface. Yeah, we don't know. I mean, Andreeva had a nice run on the clay last year and didn't really do much in the grass. We don't. I just
She was,
don't
I
know.
think, I think she got to middle weekend, and then she
Yeah.
smacked her racket in the grass and got in trouble with the adults. But
So, who hasn't gotten in trouble for that?
yeah, exactly.
All right,
I'll
let's
take
just save her.
Andreeva, but keep going. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't. You could be right. Maybe I hate that. Sabalenka. I mean, let's just Sabalenka's in the quarters.
yeah. I think
I think she's the
provided
one.
she's at full health, yeah.
I think she's without looking at the matchups and only knowing what I know so far. I think she's my favorite. Um, just based on playing style, and question marks around Rybakina and her health and short on matches coming in. Uh, yeah, I think Sabalenka is my favorite. All right, Paolini is gonna get through the third round. I have her right there in that little pocket with Sorribes Tormo.
Never won a match at Wimbledon.
Yeah, that's fine. Sorribes
Not often
Tormo.
you see a top 8 seed who has
But like
been over
way
at an
more than
event.
but way more than any other tournament. Like the Guga Kuerten, rule of being seeded three and everyone hoping you're in that section of the Casper Ruud situation. Like more than any other tournament, you see good players relegated to mediocrity on grass very quickly. Um, uh, oh, I know. Okay, upset special.
What do you got?
I have Andrescu in the fourth round. Bianca Andrescu in the fourth round.
Yeah, I could see that. What's the upset? Oh, over Paolini to get there.
No, just that entire section when you haven't played much tennis in, however
Yeah,
long unseeded. Yeah, so Paolini in the third round, which is not really it's an upset on paper, but
right.
it's more just like someone unseeded that I'm punching in. I've gone chalk for a lot of it so far. Uh Kostiuk, Maddie Keys, tricky little one against Trevisan. Kostiuk, I'm
I
trying to
think
think. Kostiuk on grass. Does she have results on grass?
she has athleticism, but I don't know if she has. I'm forever getting. I'm still on the Madison Keys train. I got to tell you, maybe not to win events, but there is just so much power. I don't think she's losing 8 players bunched next to her. Do you?
No. Keys and Dresku. That's where I'm at.
That's a repeat from last year. Yeah, that's good.
And Andreescu, I watched her play that match against Osaka a couple weeks ago. She played pretty well. Like she's kind of her re-entering the conversation, winning a bunch of matches at Roland Garros, like and playing well straight away off of her latest injury has been pretty impressive.
Right.
Now, I want to pencil her in potentially to the quarters. I just don't know if her body can take that many matches.
That's always the question. Yeah.
4 matches in a short week when your body hasn't, but it's a day off in between. All right, I'm
Right.
upset special. BB in the
What do you got?
quarters.
Whoa. All right. Wait, it was Keys Andreeva last year. Yeah, and you said yeah. You're right. So and you have Andreescu, our what
I
little
have
2019 Magic. Okay, that's good.
I have Andreescu in the quarters somehow.
Take it. Own it.
Um, Azarenka played pretty well last week. Azarenka Sloan first round.
Ooh, so it's
Pliskova in
for the
there.
10th time.
Osaka. Okay, I have. All right, now we're getting fun.
Yeah,
I have
this is a good section here. What do we got?
I have Osaka Vika third round. Matchup. Vika second serve. Osaka can go after it. If Osaka's in the third round, that means she's found form. I have Osaka in the fourth round.
Whoa, that would be her career best Wimbledon showing, I think.
I know. By the way, I hate all of my picks. Just
Wait, we got Pliskova, former finalist and number one player. We don't like her.
Pliskova's not getting through Azarenka.
Yeah,
She's too
right.
solid. Like there's a reason.
Right,
There's recency bias, but it's just if Osaka wins 2 matches,
and she's got some momentum. Yeah.
Azarenka. I don't actually. I'm gonna leave that one open and come back to it because I have so much respect for Vika. All right. Kristea, Coco. All right. And I don't see anyone bothering her. Dolehide is a decent. It's a pretty good first round matchup for her because she basically tops out on the forehand. I don't know that she can. Again, similar to Swiatek, you go through that forehand side on Coco, like flat through that side. That's the plan. And Dolehide can rip, but the shot shape is a little spinny for this deal. Coco Osaka.
Ooh.
Man, this section's gonna get me in trouble. I'm gonna look like an idiot.
When yeah, right. When Dion Perry and her one-handed backhand. Emma Navarro, top 20 American player.
I love her. She lost first round in Berlin. I
Yeah,
don't
not
know
at grass. Yeah, I think it's
on
only her second Wimbledon, I think.
on the
Um,
grass. Just don't. A lot of times, you just don't know on grass. It's such a
right,
specific
right.
service, and if someone doesn't have a track record, it's hard to bet on that versus someone who does. Coco Osaka. Who do you have? Do you have Vika through in that fourth round?
I do. Oh, that's tough. I do. I scribbled it down, and now I'm looking at it. I don't know. I mean, I do think just big picture between Coco loses first round last year, and that was the low ebb of her career, perhaps.
Yeah.
She comes back now, so she's defending nothing. Not that she really cares about that. She's got the Iga kryptonite thing, but Iga's on the other side of the draw.
And grass is very different, by the way.
And grass is very different. And yeah, and she's on a preferred surface. And now I'm looking at Coco's draw, and boy, Coco has nothing to complain about, at least week one. Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think on grass experience, in form, I think Azarenka probably beats. I don't know. Coco beats Azarenka. I'm with you. Coco beats Azarenka. I like
Coco and Andreescu.
Both. God,
I don't know if I'm going to take. For some reason, I want to take Osaka, but I need to remember that like she didn't have a record on grass when she was number one in the world.
Been to a third round. Then again, she doesn't have much of a record at Roland Garros either, and she came within a point of beating the champion. Yeah.
All right, just because she's the person I want to bet against the least, I'm going to go Coco semis. And now I'm going backwards.
Yeah, so let's reset. So we gotten through the quarters. Tell us your quarters real quick.
All right. So we're gonna reset here quickly. We're going through the draw. Top of the food chain, I have Iga Vondrousova. But like the Iga's draw again is just so rough. Like starting with Kenin, Siniakova third round, Ostapenko fourth round, who she's never beaten. I just have so much respect for Iga. Like I know the surface doesn't warrant this, but I have Iga in the semis. I have Rybakina Pegula in this next thing, and I'm thinking about doing something crazy. I'm doing it. Pegula gets to her first Grand Slam semifinal ever.
Her first major semifinal ever. Oh wow, that's first grand. Yeah, geez.
Never been past the quarters, and there's
Yeah,
some scar
right.
tissue there.
Wow,
Like it gets brought up a lot.
that's a
Iga
pick.
Pegula,
All right,
Iga
that's a
Pegula.
take.
I don't like this. What I'm about to do. I think
What do
I'm
you
betting
got?
with my heart here. I think I'm betting with my heart here. And we're doing this.
Pagula to beat Iga?
This is a good. This is a this is so stupid. This is a good chance to plug our redraw show. So basically, all the picks that all the picks that John and I fuck up, we're gonna come early second week and basically make fun of ourselves and then do a redraw from I don't know round of 16 or quarters on, whatever producer Mike decides.
Yeah, it'll be. We'll record it next Monday. Put it out quickly.
Pagula's in the final, guys.
Oh my god! Wow.
You're so triggered by that call.
Remember how much shit you gave me for the good vibes of Rafa beating Zverev, and going with karma and heart overhead. I think there's a real. You ever see the stat where like if you're an 80% free throw shooter, right? Pretty good. 4 out of 5 shots go in. If I give you 3 free throws, the odds are better than 50-50 you're going to miss one. And I feel like that's a little what's going on with Iga. Like you can't keep. I think she wins each one of these matches independently, but there's enough of a miss potential that you. I got Iga through though. I got to say.
I mean, I picked Pegula in the final, and I think she's like 55-45 to beat Bolter in the third round. So I don't know how this works. When you actually write out a draw like we're doing and it's a live thing, you have to fill in each section and you're not just lazily going pick a winner, pick a dark horse like every other analyst on earth, and that's how they do their show. It's really easy to sit here and go like that I can do. But when you actually fill out the balls and strikes of tough third rounds, tough fourth rounds, tough quarters, it becomes a lot more complicated and you end up with picks where you're like, how did I get here?
Exactly.
Pegula's never been past the quarters, and I have her in the finals of Wimbledon.
Right.
Like, how does this work?
Well, and there's the variable of injury, right? I mean,
that's why I have Rybakina. I'm like, is she going to show up? Is she going? Like,
exactly.
I am a crazy person for not taking Rybakina.
Right.
But it's like, is she going to get to the quarters? Is she going to play? Like, what's her state of mind? How are we doing this? I have Pegula in the final.
All right.
What about the other side?
Wait, is
Sabalenka's in the final. I have Sabalenka beating Pegula in the final. That's it. So I have Zhang, Sabalenka up top.
Whoa.
Yeah, seriously.
Man, that was rushed.
What?
All right, talk us through it. What's
your other
There's
quarter?
nothing to talk through. I have Queen Wen and Sabalenka in the court. This part is like, so you're hearing like the angsty picks. Also, unlike most analysts, the ones I'm not confident in, I think I talk through more. As opposed to, I like Sabalenka going through. I think she's the favorite against anyone. She's the most. I think she's the most bankable name in this draw currently. Played a match against Kazatkina in Berlin, crushed her, and then said, "Listen, I'm mentally fried. Like I need to just take a minute before Wimbledon, let my body reset," which I think is a mature decision. Like, I'm not going to take anyone over her. I think she has a decent draw to get to the quarters against Zhang. And then I just like her up there. I like the matchup against, I have Coco in the semis against beating Andreescu in the quarters. And then, so I rushed through it because it's like one of the ones that makes sense to me as I'm looking at it on the draw, maybe more so than any other part of the draw that I've looked at. I like Sabalenka through. I think Sabalenka is going to win Wimbledon this year. JW, who do you have at the bottom half there?
I hate the variable of injury. So Sabalenka complained about a shoulder. We don't like shoulder plus tennis is a bad combo, but I don't know if she's just resting it for 10 days. I really like Coco in part because of her draw. I also think, I mean, tell me I'm reading too much into this, but there's one player that really bedevils her. And that's Iga. I mean, this is like Serena Sharapova stuff. I mean, this is really a bad head-to-head.
Sure, I don't know what you mean.
Does it not? Well, I mean, there's one player in the draw who really, yeah, exactly. But does it not give her some solace knowing I am not going to play this player?
Mike, that got super awkward when you were saying that, didn't it?
A little bit.
We're talking women's tennis here.
Okay, sure.
I don't know. I think, I mean, again, let's also back up and do note that last year, the player that won this event was unseeded, had a losing career record at the tournament. So no one knows shit about shit. But I think I really like Coco to get to the final.
Wow. So you have Coco Iga. Are you going to do the thing? Are you going to put Coco in the final and then have her upsetting Iga in the finals of Wimbledon?
Precisely.
Don't criticize me for betting with your heart and then do this. Like literally roll back the tape here. This is where you edit. You do the Wayne's World thing where you go back in time, Mike. And then you play what he said where he was just ripping on me for betting with my heart. And then he just did that.
Coco's going to have a nice first week. She's going to get her teeth into this tournament. Brad's going to get in her head and give her the pep talk. She's relaxed, knowing she doesn't have to play Iga. If she plays her at all, it's not going to be until the trophy is on the court. Then all she has to do is win 12 games.
You know what I've realized?
Boom.
Doing these draw shows with you, you know what I've realized? Is that you start at the story that you want to write. whether it's Rafa in the semis, whether it's Rafa in the finals, last one, you start where you work backwards from.
You're giving up the game.
Wins, it blows the roof off of tennis. If Coco, how do we make it even more dramatic? Let's let her beat Iga, who is her mental, taking up a lot of brain space. All right,
I'm cooking popcorn for this, John. I love it.
You're giving up you're giving up the game here. That's the key to media. You don't root for players. You don't have it. You root for storyline. And Coco thwarting Iga in the final doesn't get better than that.
True. But I like it. But I have a one-word counter. Sabalenka.
All right.
One-word counter.
All right, so Andy's got Sabalenka.
I'm actually like Mike. I don't know if we can release this. I think I'm embarrassed by all of our picks.
So you got Sabalenka over Pegula.
I have Sabalenka over Pegula,
and then John has Coco over Iga
on grass.
All right, we got a redraft show in a week, so we can paper over this. Yeah,
we're gonna need a redraft show.
Right.
Oh, I need a break before we go on to the men's. Ooh.
Yeah, let's take a break. I need to come to terms.
Break.
I need to come to terms with our decision. We will be right back with more Served, presented by Ozlo Sleepbuds. All right, welcome back to Serve, presented by Ozlo Sleepbuds. Unfortunately, after those picks, I think they're going to dump us. I think they're so embarrassed by what we just did in the last segment that I think we used to be presented by Ozlo Sleepbuds. I will tell you something. Like luckily, we've gotten a lot of interest for sponsorship from companies that we love their product or are excited about their product. Wilson, Olipop, et cetera, et cetera. So I was dialed, right? Ozlo sends me this beautiful package, of which I think John was just holding it up. And we traveled overnight flight. First time our kids have been on, to Europe. So making sure they're sleeping, kind of rattled, leaving 18,000 suitcases as we're leaving the house. And what did I do, Mike Hayden? I needed it. I needed the Sleepbuds. And what did I do? I put them in my checked bag like a moron.
Rookie.
And guess how many, without those Sleepbuds, guess how many minutes I slept on the flight? Guess. If you said 1, you guessed too high. It was a big fat zero burger.
You were missing out on the built-in noise canceling, wonderfully relaxing babbling brook sound effects.
As I told our friend when we were getting through this deal, is like, I sleep next to a babbling brook every night. And I hope she doesn't listen to this. Or I hope she's in the next room. I hope she doesn't hear me doing the show. But you guys have used them, right? JW, did you?
Yeah, I am not merely clairvoyant. I'm not just clairvoyant, but well rested. No, it's awesome. Seriously. Here, I'll hold. Do you have yours? Mike, you got yours?
Yeah, I got mine.
They do have a babbling brook. I thought
it also Bluetooths into your favorite podcast. I went to bed last night, with the ever relaxing Served with Andy Roddick. Yeah. It was so relaxing. Put me.
You know what's not relaxing is John's picks. Those aren't relaxing.
Speaking of picks,
I don't like my picks either. To be fair. All right, let's get to the guys. Thank you to Ozlo Sleepbuds for giving us some swag, and at least giving 2 out of the 3 of us some sleep. The other one is a moron. who packed it in the wrong bag. But I will not make that mistake again. All right, let's get it. Let's see. I know who the top seed is. I know who I'm going to look at first. Jannik Sinner, Hanfman. Oh my God, Berrettini in Sinner second round. Oh, that's the one. That's why you had that shit-eating grin on your face. Oh, that's a big one. All right, obviously Sinner, but I mean, listen, I love Berrettini on grass. I think he's two-time Queens winner, Wimbledon finalist, like great grass court player, but like I obviously can't pick against Sinner off of the heels of Halle being number one in the world. But that's not the second round that Sinner's team wanted to see. I'll tell you that much, right?
Can we just stop to note sidebar what an absolute star model Berrettini is? Now that you're in Italy, you're going to see this guy. And I'm always thinking 99 out of 100 people that walk by the Hugo Boss billboard or see this guy on a bus with a fancy Hugo Boss watch do not realize this is a former top 10 player and Wimbledon finalist. So if he doesn't make it past the second round, at least he has a lucrative modeling career. But yeah, imagine being the stallion stalwart, and you've reached a Wimbledon final, and you're feeling healthy, and you're finally back, and then you find out you have to play the other Italian who's the number one seed in the second round. It's a rough draw for both of these guys. So,
who's bigger in Italy is Sinner. It's so funny. You were going through that thing with Berrettini's modeling career, and the only thing I had in my head as you were going through it is actual fan of the show, Ben Stiller and Zoolander going, Berrettini's really, 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 really good looking.
Well played.
All right, Greek Sport through to the third round. There is some scar tissue there. They played first round of Halle, and Sinner lost the first set. Greek Sport tends to get leads against guys in the top five, and then he hasn't beaten a guy in the top five. Sinner chicken dinner through to the fourth round. Nico Jari, your guy.
What's that sound I hear? It's the upset whistle.
Yeah. Well, I don't. Did you learn your lesson from Roland Garros? Because you were kind of.
I'm down on my passion for Chileans now runs as thin as the country is itself. I'm over Chile. I've had it with those guys.
I'm going Chapo over.
Yeah, me too.
Sorry.
Me too.
Chapo, former semi-finalist at Wimbledon. Altmaier, that's not going to do anything. Lloyd Harris, Mickelson. Alex Mickelson can play on the surface. Mickelson, I have Mickelson, Chapo in the third round. I'm taking Mickelson in Ben Shelton's section. I don't like doing it. I love Ben Shelton, but he has not shown us enough on the grass. First round of Queens, a very ordinary loss last week as well. Yeah, which who'd never won a match on tour, I don't think, before at tour level. So Chapo, Mickelson. I don't know who I like in that one yet. I mean, this is probably just a homer pick, like fellow American. I'm going Mickelson to the fourth round, and I'm going Sinner, obviously, through that one. Dimitrov. Mannarino is normally really good on grass, and he hasn't won many matches so far this season.
He's playing this is the men's 35 French championship here.
This is the La Moray Club Championship.
Exactly. Mannarino versus against Mannarino, right? They're going to have cocktails on the 17th green afterwards.
Yeah. I'm taking Mannarino. I'm taking Dimitrov through this section though. Like Dimitrov, I have in the fourth round. Lajovic, Garin, Wawrinka, Mannarino. I like Mannarino, Dimitrov. I like Dimitrov in that section.
You don't like the career slam for Stan. He's only one Wimbledon away.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Oh, this is a tough one, man. This is a really tough second round too. As we look down to the Triple Z, and he played great in where was it? Halle, I think. Triple Z and Struffy.
Ooh,
second round.
Two sleepers, huh?
Yeah, I just don't know enough about Triple Z. Like I saw him when he was playing. He played Eubanks. Eubanks served for the match, but Eubanks is a grass quarter who you think of. He transitions into the net a lot. He doesn't actually serve and volley a ton. Maybe situationally he does a little bit. curious to see how Triple Z. I don't know how he fends off serving volleyers, like quick return, quick off the mark, passing shot. I'm going Struff, third round, upset Triple Z. This is it. I'm going. You guys are gonna think this is nuts. Daniil, who I love. Medvedev, Mueller. Okay, so I have Medvedev, Struff. I'm going Struff to the fourth round.
Woo. That's an upset pick.
It is. That's probably dumb. So I have Dimitrov, Struff. I'm going to take Dimitrov just because I feel like he's more likely to get to the fourth round, not because in that individual matchup, but I think he's most likely to get to that fourth round because Struff obviously has Medvedev, Triple Z. That's a pretty big calls. But I have Sinner, Dimitrov on the top. The Chuckster. This is
the second quadrant we're starting now, right?
This is so I'm going second quarter. Alcaraz is just going through. That's a pretty comfortable draw. I don't know Lehal that much qualifier from Estonia, but I don't think that it will matter. Tiafo obviously has been struggling as a seed in that section. Is normally very good on grass. I'm sure he would tell you he's had a bad year. By his standard, right? You're a victim of your own shadow sometimes, and then got hurt in Queens. So Arnaldi, even that one, like I don't know if I like Francis. I don't know how healthy he is. I don't even know how well Arnaldi plays. I just know that's a little bit of a struggle Magoo right now. Chorich, I guess I'll take Chorich to the third round, even though he hasn't been playing well. Alcaraz is in the he's going to be.
That's a nice draw, right, for our defending champion.
That's a comfortable draw. Humbert, who normally is streaky on fast courts, I haven't heard his name in like 6 weeks. He played okay at Monte-Carlo, and then he's kind of been a little bit slow since then. Oh, there's one. Okay, we got him. Ooh, sorry. Baez. I'm in that next little section down. I have Alcaraz in the fourth round.
That's an upset pick, right?
That's enough. Nakashima can play on grass, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Almost beat Kyrgios the year that Kyrgios in the round of 16. Was it? Yeah,
2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah, round of 16, he lost to Kyrgios in 5. But then he plays Jordan Thompson second round. That's a tricky little section. Those are two really good grass court players. Humbert,
there are about 3 or 4 Aussies to keep an eye on, I would say, and Jordan Thompson is one of them.
Gosh, it's tough. Okay. This is you guys are gonna hate this. Humbert is gonna get through. I'm taking this. You guys are gonna like this. I hate this so much. I really don't like these shows. They stress me out. I gotta be honest. They stress me out. I hate doing these shows.
We got a mulligan coming.
I don't like a mulligan, man. That's not real life. Alcaraz, I have you like Thompson over Nakashima there.
Yeah, I think so.
And then do you have Humbert through or Thompson through?
I mean, so look at Humbert, who's not a great grass court player.
Which is shocking because his game should be good on grass.
Yeah, right. And it's sort of what about I don't even know if he wins that first match. Van de Zandschulp is apparently halfway, he sort of talked existentially about how he doesn't know if he even wants to keep playing tennis. So I'm not sure what we read there. Liam Brody, nice guy, but a wild card. I don't know what we read there. This is an interesting boy. If you're Carlos Alcaraz, you owe a fruit basket to the tennis gods. You're defending champion. You're coming off winning the previous major, and you can, what a nice work week.
First tennis gods mentioned.
Tennis gods.
I like Alcaraz in the quarters. I think
tennis gods are getting Harry and Davids. All right, who do you got? Alcaraz in the quarters, yeah.
I'm trying to think. I think I'm going to go Nakashima in the fourth round again.
To beat Jordan Thompson. All right.
Yeah. I don't feel good about it, but I don't know. But it's probably a homer pick, honestly. Oh, okay. I mean, this draw for Alcaraz, as I'm looking through now, I'm down to the Tommy Paul section. I like Tommy Bublik's not easy, but I'm going to take Tommy Paul the fourth round. Tommy Paul in the quarters against Alcaraz is that section. That section is
That's exactly what I have.
that's not. I mean, Bublik.
Casper Ruud with two career two career Wimbledon wins to his record.
No, it's a short trip to London for him. On most years. And I love Casper, but Navone, who's seated in that section, I think I read that he's never won a tour level match on anything except for clay.
Clay, yeah.
So Sonego can play. Okay, Sonego plays Navone. He's gonna win that. That's like the big like that's not an upset. That's like Sonego's gonna be a 5-1 favorite in the match against the seed. Sonego can actually play. Sonego is gonna be in the fourth round. Sonego Paul. Tommy Paul.
Tommy Paul, right?
Tommy Paul, yeah, I think he's playing great. So Pedro Martinez, Max Purcell is a little weird because he comes in on everything, but I think Tommy returns well enough. Zuzu Bergs, Kazoo. Bublik is brutal. Like he could be nasty on grass, but he could also lose first round of Mensik.
Exactly.
So Paul's by far the most reliable choice in this section. Sonego can play on grass though. Watch out for him. I like him in the fourth round. All right, I'm flipping over to the Rublev section. All of a sudden I'm looking at Musetti like in the grass quarter after Queens. In that Rublev
one-hander, nice slice. Wait, you were giving me shit for Musetti last week. I think Musetti's got a real chance here. I don't trust Rublev anymore.
I like how your grass court bona fides were just, one-hander.
He's got a nice slice. He just got to he just got to the final of Queens Club.
Yeah.
All right.
I have Rublev winning that.
I didn't see this one. Wait, look at Korda Davidovich Fokina.
I know. Are you Musetti to the fourth round, or are you Musetti to the fourth round, or are you Rublev?
I'm a grudging Rublev, which is par for the course.
You know what?
I'm not a Rublev full believer, but fourth round, sure.
Jon Wertheim?
What do you got?
What do you got? Rublev's second serve. Your boy Grasscourt Musetti was knocking down one-handed returns. Grassetti was knocking down one-handed returns. I'm going to have more faith in your guy than you do. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to flip your guy on you.
Big low.
Musetti fourth round.
All right.
Grasscourt.
Good man.
Okay. Davidovich Fokina sneaky beat Hurkacz first round, who's one of the top 5 or 6 grass court players. That low center of gravity situation we were talking about, he has not been playing well this year. Okay, I got my second kind of upset controversial situation.
What do you got?
I think Tsitsipas gets more credit on grass than he deserves. I don't think he returns first serves well at all. I don't think if he can't lean back and elevate that backhand, I don't know that I like it. I think there's been some turnover. His trainer publicly calling him out for basically like the worst thing someone could say about you if they leave your camp is that I'm leaving your camp because you don't work hard enough. That's brutal. That would cause me so much stress. I like Seb Korda in the quarters.
No argument.
Taylor Fritz, Rinder Kanesh.
Wait, this Taylor Fritz, does this make you nervous? This Taylor Fritz match?
O'Connell? No.
Lefty? I don't know.
No. The lefty thing is really problematic for guys that don't have a strong left hand on their backhand side. Right? Like you're serving, someone pulls you wide, and if you can kind of and especially that flat ball, I like playing lefties even though my backhand sucked because at least it was flat and punchy. So I actually return lefties better on my backhand side on that wide one than I would on my forehand side where I kind of had to grind a forehand return and it was easier to square up. I think Taylor has that thing. He's a really strong left hand. He doesn't get beat for pace on his backhand very often. He gets beat for movement, but that doesn't stress
for the record, Chris. I was saying for the record, he's a righty, but one-handed backhand.
Got it. Oh well, one-handed backhand.
I knew there was something. Yeah, right. Nice to see Rinder Nesh. Remember, this is the guy who had to retire when he kicked this courtside signage leading the match in Paris. Nice to see that has not prevented him from playing the next major.
All right. This is going to be a quick section for me. Tabilo, great job in Rome. Dan Evans is another person who fell at Queens. Uh, okay. Taylor Fritz. Oh, this is gonna get really. I'm gonna bet with my heart here on this one coming up. Okay, so Taylor Fritz, I have him through to the fourth round. The next section, Jack Draper. Ooh,
Lot of heat. A lot of heat.
Second round, Battle of the Brits. Jack Draper, Cam Norrie. Very interesting. Cam Norrie.
That's lefty.
That is
Do you know
lefty.
Jack Draper, number 5? One of the boards I saw, number 5 with the odds makers.
That's absurd.
Absurd, right? I mean,
That's absurd.
Nice run up, nice game, got a
That's
title,
because they
beat
read.
Alcaraz.
That's because they've been reading Jon Wertheim's mailbag about Jack Draper.
That's because they're Brits.
You're juicing the numbers there. All right. So do you like Draper over Norrie?
I do though. Yeah, I do.
Okay, and then
Norrie's had a rough year.
So I'm assuming you have Zverev through in his little section.
Yeah.
Marcos Giron can play on grass, but I don't think he's going to beat Zverev. Okay, Zverev Draper. Zverev.
You think?
Yeah, Draper is really good. Returning first serves consistently. And also I worry about his body. Like he's never played extended 5-set tournaments before. His body kind of goes sideways sometimes. I'm not totally confident in his fitness level, 3 out of 5-set format. Zverev. Now this is a big one. Zverev, Taylor Fritz on grass. Oof. What do you think about that one, JW?
Zverev too. I think my irrational and seldom reciprocated love of Sebastian Korda makes it so I don't have to answer that. But no, I think that's an opportunity for Fritz. I just don't know if that match happens. Zverev Fritz on grass. I think I might go Fritz. Is that crazy?
No. Well, also I'm more worried about Draper than anyone Fritz is going to have to go through. All right, guy. I mean, I have all of it. Let's just Fritz for fun and let this. I'm doing the Wertheim thing where I'm writing my story backwards. Korda Fritz. This would be amazing, by the way. This would be so much fun.
Korda Fritz would be fun, yeah.
I'm going Fritz to the semis.
Woo. His first major semi.
Yeah, and that can be said about a lot of people these days, to be fair.
It's true.
Can be said about our boy Rublev. Can be said. It can. Okay, so let's take it this way. The only person in this there's 2 guys in this section that I think have been to a semi of a major. Oh no, it's Nishikori's in there. Never mind. Didn't see him tucked in there. But I was going to say it was Zverev and then sneaky Cam Norrie at Wimbledon a couple years ago. All right, I have Fritz in the semis apparently.
Fritz in the semis.
Okay. So bottom section, Hubie Hurkacz. He's going Murray. We don't even know if Murray's going to play. Okay, I have Hubie through to the third round. I have Cerundolo, Mahatch. Like I don't know. I don't think it matters as much.
Mahatch, it's a huge ball, and he's not a huge guy.
Yeah, I'll go him. I Hubie either way. Like he's in the. I like him in the fourth round in that section, regardless of who he plays. Oje Aliassime is another guy who fell in Halle and retired. FAA, D-Manure. Okay, I like the Demon in the fourth round against Hubie Hurkacz. And I need to think about that one for a second. Let's look down at the bottom, which means let's check out Novak. Novak has a nice draw.
I was going to say, no, Novak can't compete. He and Carlos can both go to Harry and David's. Novak's owes someone a fruit basket too. Look at this. He doesn't play a top 100 player until the third round.
Yeah, Novak. Okay, I'm gonna pencil, and now obviously Eubanks is in there. Very capable on grass. We'll give Banks some love. Holger Rune searching. Yeah, but okay. Well, Karen Hatchinoff is going to be in the fourth round.
You think beating Eubanks?
I have Eubanks in there, but that could just be because I really like Eubanks.
Right.
And also he's really good on grass. Okay, so I'm gonna save everyone some time on this next section. Echeverry, great player. Novak, I like Novak. I mean, maybe he has one leg, I don't know, and I still have him. I have Novak in the semis. If he decides he's gonna play, Novak, do you have Demon Hurkacz? If you have them in the fourth round, who do you like there?
I do, and I have Demon. I don't trust Hurkacz. I know big game, success on grass. I just don't trust him, especially in a tight match. And I think Demon, especially coming off a very nice Roland Garros, but also he's a really nice grass court player.
Yeah,
and
he made the
movement and the
last year.
speed. Yeah, exactly. The second week player last year, and
well, I'll tell you this: if you're Novak's crew and you get someone who plays, kind of through the court, flat on each side, moves well, or you get like the biggest server potentially on earth, if you're Novak, you want that matchup against Demon, I think, because Demon can't take the racket out of Novak's hand, and Hurkacz potentially can.
Yeah.
Hurkacz can make it to where it's like all of a sudden we're playing sets from 4-all on a breaker, right? He can do that to players, and then it's like kind of, you trim the margins and you get a shorter shelf life. All right, so I'll work backwards from the bottom half.
Wait, real quick, I do have a question. Say God forbid Novak is hampered or unable to continue. He does play, but then is unable to continue with the knee. Who do you see coming out of that, and how does that affect the lead up to the semis?
I think I like Hurkacz if Novak's not there. He got a bunch of matches in. I don't hate what John's saying as far as just trust versus, Demon, etc. I just think he just thumps. He just throws bombs, and he's going to get looks at Demon second serve. Hatchinoff, I think it's a pick 'em. Honestly, Hatchinoff is capable, makes run at majors, can play the longer format. But I think Novak, if even close to healthy, is going to find his way through this tournament. I think big deal is that the first week, right? Which you're looking at first round, second round, third round. I don't see those matches dictating that he's going to be on the court forever if he's even close to healthy. It doesn't look like the types of matches where he's going to be pushed 4 or 5 hours on that knee, which is obviously a bigger deal now. Say something controversial. When you have surgery, you don't want to play long matches. Crazy, right?
Funny how that works.
Yeah.
Novak Hurkacz 7-0 head to head, but for Novak. But yeah, I think. But I think Mike's question is a good one, which is basically we all have great faith in Novak, and his track record speaks for itself. But if this injury makes him a non-starter, or he plays 15 minutes, has a bad slip, and says, you know what, I want to play the Olympics, no mas, it's a whole different conversation. So.
And also, if you give me one name who I think will be in the final from the bottom half, because Novak is projecting strength and health, practicing with Sinner, you don't take on a practice against the number one player in the world if you're not feeling okay, because there are some psychological things in play. So if you're asking me, assuming Novak is even close to healthy, and he's obviously going to play, which is crazy considering where we were 2 weeks ago, where I said something nuts and said, that's a short timeline. 3 weeks from surgery to first round Wimbledon is a short timeline. And that got me in trouble because that was apparently a fucking stupid thing to say.
That's your West bias. So where does that leave us? You've got a Rome pool to get to. Where does this leave us?
I have Novak in the final. I have Alcaraz Sinner.
Who do you got?
Sinner, Novak final, and I have Sinner winning the tournament, not because I think he's better on grass than Novak. I just think he's more likely to be there. No, I'm yeah. So I just want to do a redraw now.
Just right now.
I was going to say, it's exactly what I was going to say. We will do the redraw show in 20. We'll do the redraw show in 20
we'll do
minutes.
All cast after hours.
Yeah. Everyone has to have an olipop. We'll do the.
So here's what I want to say. I'm gonna like bitch out of this Sinner Alcaraz call a little bit because I do want to see them play. Like it does matter. Like it's so you can't. How am I picking a match? I mean, this is why it's dumb, and we're just guessing at a certain point because I'm going to have 11 or 12 more days of intel if we actually get to this match. So at Roland Garros, I picked Sinner at the beginning of the tournament, and then by the time the semis came, I'm like, I think I like Alcaraz in this given match, right? So listen, it all changes. I think the most bankable person coming into this, most matches, good lead up, is Sinner. But I also think Alcaraz's draw is a lot more straightforward than Jannik Sinner's. Dealing with Berrettini, dealing with a guy he barely beat in 3 sets in Greek Sport, Dimitrov versus I guess Sinner, but I'm reserving the right to change that based on the eye test and what I see for the rest of this tournament. But I like whoever I choose between Sinner and Alcaraz. I like winning just because of Novak's knee. I have him in the final, but does that mean he's healthy? Does that mean he gets there? I'm going to say another thing. There is a more than zero chance that knee will bother him and it will affect the tournament. Maybe that's crazy. Is that just fucking nuts, producer Mike?
The 37-year-old with knee surgery might be affected by the knee 3 weeks later. Man, you are filled with hate today, Andy Roddick.
Oh, dude, it's coming for me. I feel Block City coming. I'm going to be like Matumbo on Twitter, just blocking fools.
Take John's advice finally.
Yeah, it's like I say something crazy like 3 weeks is a short turnaround. We just don't know about Novak's knee, and they're like, "Your kids are assholes." I'm like, "All right, cool." Yeah, awesome.
So John,
that seems like the same.
John, does your quarter semis champion align with Andy's?
It does not, but that's okay. That's why we do these shows.
Tell us what I missed.
So we have a defending champion who also won the previous major, who beat Sinner to get there. Sinner, who has a tougher draw. He plays a fellow Italian potentially in round 2. This sounds silly and gossipy, but it's logistically his girlfriend is a seeded player on the women's side. I just don't know why you would.
Girlfriend is a seeded player on the women's side.
He's got to sit in a box. Ask Alex Dumanor about the.
Was she a seeded player at the French Open? When I mean, like, was she a seeded player in Australia? Like, has he done this before? Is this his job?
I'm just trying to figure out why things would change if Alcaraz beat Sinner in a semifinal on clay when Sinner won the previous major. Why would the
Well, I think Alcaraz is significantly better. I think he's better than Sinner on clay. I think that's Sinner's worst surface, and it could be Alcaraz's best surface.
I don't know what in the script would have flipped where you wouldn't. It's like momentum investing. Why pick against Nvidia when it's on like?
I don't have a good. Obviously, I'm not arguing against you. All of your points are valid. Past logistical schedule.
Even the girlfriend one.
I think he'll be fine. I don't think that's a factor at all. But I don't know between Sinner and Alcaraz if we get there. I want to see the eye test. We'll see. But I don't know. We do these shows and these live look-ins, and I feel incredibly insecure by the end of them with my picks, always. And they weren't horrible at Roland Garros, but then Wertheim does his picks.
And I feel pretty well. Wait. All jokes aside, I mean, I always try to make this point. Like, look, you can pick a winner. It doesn't make you a genius. You can pick. It doesn't make you a moron. But for the record, I think we actually did pretty well at Roland Garros. No.
Yeah, you had a rough first 3 days, but then your guys held strong after that.
And then you had Chile. We have here. How's this for a segue? We have dipped our toes in this draw, but I want to see your kids cannonballing into the pool in 5 minutes.
The kids will be cannonballing very shortly. That I am confident in. What I am not confident in is pretty much everything that Wertheim and I have said over the last hour and a half as I'm looking at my sheets. I have lots of regrets. JW, final thoughts. When are you heading over to London, and what's your program over there?
Leaving in about 24 hours. I'm getting too old for these red eyes, but Tennis Channel will have a 6-hour show. Some people in Santa Monica, some of us in Wimbledon. Always a fun time of the year, always a fun tournament. And, part of what we love about sports is the fact they're unscripted. So just don't take any of these picks personally.
All right. Well, let's, I can't wait to see you in our walk of shame through the redraw show. That'll be fun. I'm sure we will have plenty of text. So as much banter as you give Wertheim and I on Twitter, like you can't match what the shtick we give each other when someone's pick loses. Like it just so we're all clear, we're all in this together, and we do the exact same things that you're doing. Just maybe we're not quite as personal. Anyways, but thank you for watching, listening to Serve. We feel lucky that you choose to spend time with us, and we'll see you later on during Wimbledon. This is Serve, presented by Ozlo Sleepbuds, which I am definitely using. Will not make the mistake of putting them in my checked luggage.
Yeah, John,
again.
don't put them in your luggage, John.
Yeah, seriously. Make sure you have those in your backpack. All right. This has been Serve, presented by Ozlo Sleepbuds. Thanks for watching.